Welcome back to Jeff Carnage live from the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. And yes, that was no doubt a sober conversation with New Nakata Chairman John Matudo. Now we talk about another very sober issue, road carnage. That's the only way my guest could describe it. In fact, he has a better word for it. He calls it madness. Because so far this year, close to 3,000 deaths on the road alone. That's more people, more than twice, that died during the post-election violence. And this happens every year. Look at this headline in yesterday's Standard. Look at this. They seem to be getting a little serious, maybe. All drivers to be tested afresh. Is this conceivable? Is this possible? Can this happen? Well, the Cabinet Secretary for Transportation is a man who's been in the transportation industry for decades. He knows his way around. The other day at Mutindwa, he got onto talk to the press, and he called the whole situation total madness. He's engineer Micheal Kamau. His parents call him Sisto. They call you Sisto.
Oh yes, that's my name.
No, it's not.
It is. I love it.
Okay. But engineer, onto very serious issues. How many deaths this year did you tell? I said over 2,500, but you said
2,856 so far. That's the count today.
And now we're going into Christmas season.
We are going into Christmas, and on average 8 people die every day. So that means we are going to go over 3,000, which is very, very sad. I hope to not have closed that threshold of 3,000.
This headline here, is it possible that all drivers will be tested next year? Is this feasible?
You know, in 2003, we sang a song, Yote Yawezekana, and we forgot. That's what we are going to do. That's not a dream. That's reality.
Will you be able to do all 25,000?
I'll be tested, including myself. Nobody has tested me, and I've been driving for the last 35 years. Nobody knows whether my eyesight is still good. What are my skills? Have I been driving? Nobody. Nobody knows whether my leg was amputated or something. Nobody has any idea.
If you fail the test?
That's it. You don't drive.
People who fail the test?
That's it. Their licenses are cancelled.
And if they kind of sneak back in, someone allows them in the car and they transport people?
It's impossible. Number one, these are very highly computerized system. You would have to tamper with the entire system. And it's going to be linked to our security system. The IDs, the passports, this is just the first phase. That is why we are not tendering for it ourselves. It is being done by the ICT board. We just gave the specs, and everything was drawn so that it can anchor to the rest of the computerized system.
Will it work, engineer? Will it work?
It's going to work. It's going to work.
I saw you in Mutindwa the other day when the train smashed into the Matatu. And by the way, the shops are still right beside that road.
They are building, and we are going to demolish, but that's not the way. We are going to put those people in jail. They can bet on that. They can bet on that. We are going to arrest them, and we'll put them in jail.
I saw you in that press conference, engineer, and you were angry. You were mad. In fact, you called it madness.
Corrective madness. Corrective madness, corrective responsibility. We must get a national cure, which will be corrective sanity and corrective responsibility. Corrective wajibikaji. Ni lazima tuwajibike.
Kabisa. 41 people dying in one accident, engineer.
Turere.
Can you imagine 41 lives lost in an instant?
41 people. The only way to bring it home is like going to Senate and slaughtering all the senators. 40 of them, you'll be left with 7, the elected senators.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the impact of death. 3,000 deaths, I told the members of parliament, is that killing the members of parliament 10 times over and having 10 by-elections in this country. These are not mere statistics. It's like killing kids in 8 primary schools, classrooms of 40. That's it. So you are wiping out a whole village, a whole, I don't know, a whole town.
Absolutely.
In some cases.
Look, I don't want to get beat down too much on the police, because we always blame game. It's all over the place, and we say, oh, police accept bribes, or police do this, police do that. But what are you going to do about the police? Because let's face it, at roadblocks, at checkpoints, they let certain cars go that shouldn't go. They let certain drivers who are drunk or drugged go. What are you going to do?
Number one, the government. After 2009, when 4,000 people died, 2009 was the worst year in Kenyan history. Over 4,000 people died. That's when the government decided that they must do things in a different way. And a bill was prepared and it was enacted And then we had the NTSA, National Transport and Safety Authority, to be responsible for management of transport safety. Now, what that means is that we are going to review gradually, one by one, bring everybody under one umbrella. We've started discussions with the Inspector General of Police. The police do not necessarily have to be the traffic wardens. They don't have to. Once all the systems that we are putting in place, the police may be relieved of their duties in terms of managing traffic in cities and so on. And we can now leave them with jobs where they deal with accident cases and arrests. So, but what did I say? Corrective irresponsibility? Corrective madness? All of us, everybody. The people who have been in management positions, the people who drink and drive, all the middle class people in Nairobi West up to 11 o'clock who think that drink and driving is not something. All of us. So not just the police, the drivers who overspeed and bribe and get away with it. The people, the passengers, the husbands, the wives, the children.
Engineer, but you have to make arrests. You have to throw somebody in jail.
Enforcement.
Correct.
Enforcement. What is happening now? We've started something. We started the Safety First campaign. We did the first phase, and we learned from that first phase. Now we started the second phase. The Chief Justice gave us 13 magistrates dedicated just for enforcement of traffic rules. The DPP gave us 13 prosecutors. The IG gave us a dedicated team of policemen. The prisons department gave us a dedicated team. We have 13 teams all over the country. So not just the police, even us working as Cyrus. The police arrest somebody, he is discharged by a magistrate, you are not arrested, or the system also, you plead guilty
and you get away with it.
Let
me ask you, the engineer, if you are found having, you're arrested or at a checkpoint and you've been drinking, for instance,
yes,
should you be arrested, thrown in jail, and they call the media and we come and take the pictures?
Why not?
And we embarrass you?
Why not? Why not? And I'm very happy with what some radio stations are doing and TV stations. This is something very serious. 8,000 people every day. It means one person for every working hour. It's like somebody being told that officer has gone. If you are in a company and that was the rate, you need to employ replacements every day.
John Mutudho has a great idea. He says people should take pictures, put them on Twitter, put them on Facebook, put them everywhere. You're going to do the same thing?
We've started, and the NTSA is just developing its website, and we'll be posting all those things into our website and reporting, and that will be used as evidence. It will be used as evidence in a court of law.
But what is it about us, engineer? I mean, I see people in traffic, and I've been guilty of this once in a while. You overlap because you're in a hurry. You overlap and you get to that intersection, and you get to the intersection, and you're going nowhere. What is it about us?
There is no punishment. The world operates on two things: punishment and reward. You do well, you are rewarded. You do the wrong thing, you are punished. Even God, that is what He says. There is heaven and there is hell. So for us, it's heaven, heaven, heaven. So because there is no punishment. So we have to create a small hell here on earth so that we punish people. And that is enforcement. People have to pay for their sins.
Correct. Even people with red plates, engineer.
Why not? Why not? Of course, they cannot be taken to the knee. They are protected. But
embarrass them.
But embarrass them.
Yes.
Embarrass them.
Correct.
Ministers, their vehicles, everybody, magistrates, judges.
The president?
You see, no, of course not.
I'm kidding.
Of course not. What it means is, I've said, and the moment people understand this, in your house you can build a bunker and you protect yourself. You can buy a bulletproof car and support yourself with very many people to protect you. But when you are on the road, your safety is dependent on me. It doesn't matter what a good driver you are. Somebody who has been drinking or somebody who has not gone to a driving school and has a fake driving license is going to kill you.
And your children.
And your children. So road safety is not about ourselves. My road safety begins with you.
We depend on each other.
We depend on each other.
Engineer, I want to take a break, come back and read the tweets, because I know the tweets are going crazy. People are, sending messages, all kinds of things. They're asking you questions. They want to make some points. Take a quick break, come back, because I know you're catching a flight to Mombasa, right?
Just for the SGL.
You came here just for this?
Just for this.
You're a good man. Engineer Micheal Kamau. He's Cabinet Secretary for Transportation, and he's also serving notice. Arrests will be made. People will be thrown in jail. Examples will be made of those who break the law, no matter who you are. It is time to crack that whip because close to 3,000 people dead this year alone? Come on, forget about it. This is ridiculous. Jeff Koinange Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live, and we're having a very sober conversation with the Cabinet Secretary for Transportation, Engineer Micheal Kamau. Literally flew in from London on his way to Mombasa after this, but he had to stop by JKL because he has some important things to say. In fact, if you want to get in touch with him, he has an email. It is cs@transport.co.ke. Again, cs@transport.go.ke. Thanks, CS. Put the hashtag TransportKE, and the KE should be in capital letters. Hashtag TransportKE. My Twitter handle @Koinange Jeff. Hashtag JKL. Very, very sober issues we're talking about. And engineer, there's already someone tweeting in, Kimathi Gidashuri. He's saying, as the CS, actually, no, it was Effort Ken. He's saying, how do you intend to take advantage of the Toa Sauti campaign launched sometime back?
Toa Sauti, first of all, let me say how pleased I am with the support that we are receiving from the private sector. A lot of support. Toa Sauti is asking Kenyans to talk about accidents, talk about what is happening. If you are in a vehicle that is overspeeding, tell the driver he should slow down. Sometimes we just remain quiet and, like sheep being led to a slaughter. Make noise, complain, start, tell the driver, you can't ride in this, all of you. Unfortunately, people just keep quiet and nothing happens.
Yeah.
People die, 3,000 people. We should be a very angry nation that we are losing 3,000 people.
It should be a national emergency.
It is a serious thing. 3,000 people. And what does it affect? What about the injured? We talk about the dead. 10 times more. 30,000. Serious injuries. People who are maimed. People who are on wheelchairs. People who cannot fend for themselves. And then the medical bills is like a punishment.
Absolutely.
It is.
And our hearts go out to people like Stacey Sang, the Musangari girls. She lost both her arms.
Yes.
In that horrific accident. And those are the people we forget because we move on with our lives, and these ones, their lives will never be the same again.
And what we want to do is not just to bring them up when there is the World Accident Victims Day. It's something that we should remember all the time. It's something that should be, when you get into your car, it's like the aircraft. No matter how many times you've had the safety, wanatoa sauti.
Yeah.
They tell you keep your seat belts, your belts fastened
at all times.
All times, and they tell you about danger. If there is a problem, this is the squatting position that you take. That should happen in all vehicles, especially public transport vehicles. There should be a safety message that is read out to people before the vehicle starts.
Someone, Tony Opot,
yes.
What are the strategies being put in place for long-distance trucks? Because we're still seeing them right inside the city. Up on this museum hill, we see these long-distance trucks.
Now, one of the things that we can't do is we can't stop them. There are too many. There are very many, 2,400. There is no place to park them. If we had, we would have parked them outside the city. But that would not also work. That is why the standard gauge railway becomes very important in terms of removing the trucks from the roads. But also, now, the new registration that is coming, that we are going to, the new regulations, is going to limit the number of hours that you can drive. You cannot drive for more than 4 hours.
How can you tell? How will you be able to tell?
Every vehicle must have 2 drivers. If you are driving at night, every vehicle must have 2 drivers if you are doing long distance. Otherwise, you have to keep on stopping, and when the 4 hours expire, and you log when you start. So it's serious business.
Engineer, people laughed when Michuki tried to implement his laws in the beginning. They said people never wear seatbelts in matatus, makangas will never wear uniforms. They laughed. Michuki implemented them. Michuki became the hallmark of the transportation industry. Are you the new Michuki?
I don't want to be the new Michuki. I just want to be bringing everybody. By the way, 2,400 people died that year. 2,400 compared to 3,000. That's what we want to do. But we must institutionalize. So he did a very great job, but people did not walk along with him. The institutional arrangement was not there. The other departments did not, work very closely with him. So that was done, and then it wore out. When he was transferred, things fell apart.
Correct, and they forgot about it.
So this is something, that is why I keep on saying, that road safety has to be part of our DNA. It's got to be part of our social fabric. If you are with your husband or your wife or in the company of somebody and he's going to drive, you must make sure that person doesn't drink. Designated drivers, that is the kind of behavior that must be there. Somebody who is at the pub must ask, are you driving home tonight? And then they should tell you, one drink and I won't sell anymore. So migrate from, safety.
Engineer, Kenyans aren't going to do that.
They are
Kenyans
going
will
to
say, have another one.
No, they are going to do it.
Have two more.
They are going to do it.
Have one for the road.
By the way, what Kenyans want is leadership. And we are very, very obedient when it comes to obeying rules. As long as there is punishment and you know that you are going to spend some time being a state guest, which is what we are doing. Let me tell you, if you want to just comprehend the level of impunity. Last week, a SIGO operation at Mororogo, overspeeding, we raised 1.1 million fines in a single day, one spot, one way.
Abel Kandie is saying, what do you have plans for, let's unroadworthy vehicles like many Pro Boxes out there? What do you plan for those?
Indeed, the problem with the Pro Boxes is not being unroadworthy. It's just that they are being used as public transport vehicles. Well, they should not be used. 16 people. Unfortunately, our enforcement is not at its best. So unroadworthy vehicles, what you said is, we know that as a government, we cannot have motor vehicle inspections everywhere. So we are going to get designated garages, like the ones that are run by AA. AA does the valuation of all vehicles for insurance purposes. Why would AA not carry out motor vehicle inspections in all their where they have garages, or garages that are designated by AA that can be used for valuation? So we will register garages, we ask people to apply, and then they can do the inspection for us. We take this to the private sector. So that way we can rid ourselves of unroadworthy public service vehicles. The licenses also will have something that you swap. So if it's swapped, it shows the last time this vehicle went for inspection, just like the driver's license. So you cannot cheat. You cannot just come and put a sticker that has been made in a street somewhere in Nairobi or elsewhere.
Yeah, and all the road licenses that we have that look like a booklet from 1930s.
Yes.
All that's going to be done away with.
By March of next year, we will start the new generation driving licenses. People will be retested. This process is going to take 1 year. We are estimating 1 year that we retest all the drivers, all of them. First of all, we'll start with the heavy commercial vehicles, and then we go to public service vehicles. Heavy commercial vehicles, because they are part of, they contribute a lot to road accidents. But interestingly also, we rope in the pedestrians. Half of the people who die from road accidents are pedestrians. Careless driving.
Big knocked up.
Did you see a photo of somebody crossing Thika Road? Somewhere where there is a footbridge and he has a bag on his head. He's not even turning. He can't even turn. So a lot of educational campaign. Okay,
Gina is saying, what about matatus and buses that stop on the side of the roads, for example, Waiyaki Way, Kangemi, Kino? Very risky because of long distance buses and trucks.
Now, but they stop to pick who? A Kenyan passenger. Or a passenger. They may not be Kenyans, they could be diplomats or other people who use our public transport. So why would people also board buses at places that are not designated? It is not policing, it is also education, public education, so that we also behave in a manner that discourages that behavior.
Yeah.
What is happening with these mobile courts? Instant justice, where people are being told, get off the vehicle immediately, all of you. All those who are overloaded, and they are being put into a van and taken to magistrates.
So everybody's responsible?
Everybody is responsible. Corrective responsibility.
Good. Mary Onyango, please ask the engineer what he's doing about loud music and PSVs.
That, in terms of safety, we have not mounted the campaign. We have started with speed governors, drivers, and overspeeding. Those are the things that we are doing in this safety, but it doesn't mean we are not going to do it. We are going to do it. In fact, what the police are concentrating on is any driver who is seen also talking on the mobile. The loud music will be switched off, but that is part of the campaign that we are going to roll out.
Mark Philo is saying, don't forget border borders, engineer. Of late, most border borders cause accidents.
Again, the licensing regime, you saw what happened. They came in and the plate numbers were moving very quickly. Now, where are the helmets? One of the things that we are saying is that for your vehicle, for your border to be registered, or your motorbike, you must go with 2 helmets which have the numbers engraved, and anytime you take it for inspection you must go with them. So you can't come and borrow my helmet.
Yeah.
The way they do it in Rwanda, if you are being transported on a motorbike,
yes,
you wear a clean scarf and then you put on the helmet.
Correct.
And that's it.
Engineer Shiko's asking, matatus in the CBD are crazy and dangerous, especially motorcycles. If bus stops can be moved to outside of the CBD. That's what Shiko's asking.
We also need buses in bus stops in the CBD. But now this, if you look at it from the point of view of an integrated transport system, where we have started a program of having commuter rails, which is 26 kilometers. That is the first phase, and we are just reviewing the documentation, and soon we shall be awarding. We want by 2017 to be carrying 1 million passengers. At the moment, we are only carrying 50 million passengers in Nairobi. I mean 50,000 per day. But we want that to go to 1 million passengers per day.
Engineer, we have a little more time left, and I can't let you go without telling you, you're going to Mombasa today because tomorrow you're launching
the standard gauge railway line from Mombasa to Nairobi.
After 100 years, we're finally going to have a railway.
More than 100 years. Don't discount the 20 years. Because it was in 1896.
Yes.
1900. And now we are in 2013.
When will this one be ready?
By the end of 2016. So you should be on a train from Mombasa as a passenger at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour. Commercial speed, allowing for the stops, and be in Nairobi in 4 hours. So if you start at 8 o'clock, you should have your lunch in Nairobi, if you not have been served with lunch on the train.
On the train.
And the goods trains will have a speed of 80 kilometers per hour, so 486 hours. So you start at 6, you are in Nairobi by noon. Your cargo is in Nairobi by noon.
Goodness. It only took 120 years.
Yes.
You have the final thoughts, engineer. Is what you all are doing, is it implementable? Or is this a pipe dream? Can you do it? Can you all do it?
But I've been doing it. We are going to do it. Take my word. We have a government that is very serious, a presidency that is very, very engaged, following up on projects, not just saying go and do that. The president and the deputy follow up almost on a daily basis what we are doing, and that is what we need. And I'm also doing the same. I don't have a constituency. I don't go to a constituency. I behave more or less the way I was behaving as a permanent secretary. I have all the time for my project, so follow up.
If by the end of next year we have 4,000 deaths or 5,000 deaths, will you resign?
I'll resign. Next year, January to December, 4,000, call me back, I'll resign.
You're a good man, engineer. Man of your word.
Asante sana.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because we've got to get angry.
We must.
It's a national disaster.
We must get angry as a nation.
Good man.
Asante.
Engineer Micheal Kamau on his way to Mombasa to launch the standard gauge railway line 120 years later. In the meantime, he and his team, a tough task ahead to curb those horrific road deaths. 8 a day, nearly 3,000 a year so far this year, and we're only going to the Christmas season. Bottom line, arrive alive. That's all we want. Be careful on the roads, no drinking, no driving. If you do drink, do it responsibly. This has been Koinange Live. Tomorrow on the show, among my guests, the senator from Tharaka Nithi, yes indeed, Kithure Kindiki, on why he wants the British bases closed in Nanyuki amongst other things. It's a show you simply do not want to miss. In the meantime, the news continues right here on Kenya's television network, KTN. Take it away, folks.